Today's documentary. Ibn Battuta, forged in the Sahara. The sun was a hammer, the sand, a burning anvil. And Ibn Battuta was the metal between them, about to break. 3 days. No water. The caravan had stopped moving. Around him, men collapsed into the dunes, their final prayers whispered into a scorching wind that erased them. The Moroccan scholar in his long, sweat-soaked robes saw the bleached skeletons of those who had come before him. He was 48 years old. He had traveled over 70,000 miles. And here, in the heart of the Sahara, he knew with a scholar's cold certainty. He was about to become one more set of bones for the next lost traveler to find. This was not how he imagined the world. 29 years earlier, he had left Tangier a young man of 21, a devout Muslim scholar with a thirst for knowledge that matched the desert's thirst for life. He wore the simple, dignified garb of a qadi, a judge, long, flowing robes, a carefully wrapped turban, leather sandals worn thin by the streets of Damascus, the ports of India, the courts of the Maldives. His dark eyes had witnessed the grandeur of Constantinople and the horrors of the Black Death. But nothing prepared him for the empty quarter. The year was 1352. His destination was the Empire of Mali, the land of gold beyond the desert. To reach it, he had to cross the ultimate void. His journey to this breaking point began in the bustling oasis of Sijilmasa, the last outpost of civilization. For 4 months, he waited. A caravan does not cross the Sahara on a whim. It is a military operation. It required assembling hundreds of camels, hiring the most trusted guides, stockpiling months of food and water. Ibn Battuta, the seasoned traveler, used this time. He purchased date paste, grain, and salt. He hired a loyal servant. He observed the seasoned merchants, their faces etched with stories of previous crossings. They spoke of the Maghreb, the western desert, in hushed tones. It was a creature, they said, a living thing that hated life. Finally, in the cool of a February morning, the signal was given. The caravan master, a man named Abu Muhammad Yandakan al-Mazafi, gave the order. With a groan of camels and a flutter of banners, 800 souls and their beasts plunged into the sea of sand. The first rule of the desert: travel by night. The sun was murder. So they moved under a canopy of infinite stars, the only sound the soft shuffle of camel feet and the sigh of the wind. By day, they huddled in tents, the air inside thick enough to drink. Ibn Battuta, the scholar, recorded it all. The strange, haunting beauty. The silence so profound it echoed. But the desert despises observers. It demands victims. The first betrayal came from the very man they trusted with their lives, the guide. In the vast, featureless ocean of dunes, landmarks are illusions. The guide, a man hired for his legendary knowledge, lost the way. Panic is a quiet contagion in a caravan. Whispers slithered from tent to tent. Asterisk, we are circling. He is lost. The water will not last. Asterisk. Now the real torment began. The desert showed its arsenal of horrors. Mirages. Ibn Battuta described them with a scholar's fascinated dread. Beautiful lakes, shimmering with inviting water, surrounded by lush trees. Men would cry out and point, only to watch the vision melt into a haze of heat. Then came the sandstorms. They arrived without warning, a distant roar like an approaching army. The sky would darken from blue to orange to a terrifying blood red. The wind screamed, hurling fistfuls of stinging sand that found every gap in their clothing, filled their eyes, their noses, their mouths. The world vanished. Camels bawled in terror. The caravan would huddle, tying themselves together with ropes, waiting to be buried or blasted clean. When the storm passed, the landscape was remade. Any hope of finding the lost path was gone, erased by the desert's own hand. The water ran low. Rations were cut, then cut again. The precious skins, sloshing with life at Sijilmasa, now hung limp and light. Thirst is a slow, intimate demon. It starts as a dry throat, then a raging headache. The body begins to consume itself. Lips crack and bleed. Men began to stumble. They would fall, and the caravan, a slow-moving organism fighting for its own survival, could not stop. To stop was to die with them. Ibn Battuta watched, his own strength ebbing, as men he had shared meals with simply sat down in the sand, their eyes vacant, and did not get up. The path was now marked not by stones, but by human remains. A turban here, a bleached ribcage there. The desert's ledger. Ibn Battuta, the man of faith, felt a new kind of fear. Not the sharp fear of bandits or storms, but a deep, hollow dread. Desperation breeds radical action. The caravan master, Abu Muhammad, made a decision. They would send a scout ahead. One man on the fleetest camel, carrying the last of the water skins, would race toward where Walata, their destination, should be. They watched him disappear into the heat haze, a tiny, hopeful speck swallowed by the enormity of the desert. Then, they waited. The clock was now a heartbeat. Every hour, another man fell. The water was gone. Completely. For days passed. The scout did not return. The silence was absolute. In his tent, Ibn Battuta prepared for the end. At dawn on the fifth day, a sentry's hoarse cry shattered the silence. A shape on the horizon. Not a mirage. A man. A camel. Moving fast. The scout returned. He rode into camp, his face cracked with exhaustion, but his eyes blazing. He held aloft a full water skin. The final push to that well was a fever dream. Men who could not stand an hour before found strength. They stumbled, crawled, and wept their way toward salvation. When they reached the well at Tangier, they fell upon it like animals, drinking until they were sick, pouring the miraculous liquid over their heads. Ibn Battuta survived, but the desert had changed him. The Sahara had not killed Ibn Battuta. It had forged him into the ultimate traveler, a man who had stared into the absolute emptiness of the world and had walked out of it, forever marked, forever humble, his thirst for life forever tempered by the memory of true thirst. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this documentary, please subscribe to our channel. We bring you fascinating documentaries on history, science, civilizations, mysteries, and the untold stories that shaped our world. Hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you never miss a new release. See you in the next one.